What I'm about to tell you was buried in scientific journals for over 30 years. A specific type of fiber that, when you eat it, physically blocks the absorption of fat in your gut, pulls cholesterol straight out of your bloodstream, triggers the same hormone that Ozempic cost $1,000 a month to imitate, and switches your body into fat-burning mode even while you sleep. One ingredient, 4 mechanisms, all proven by Harvard, by Mayo Clinic, by the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. But you've never heard about it. Not from your doctor, not from the news, not from the food companies that make billions selling you the exact opposite of what your body needs. In a moment, I'm going to show you the exact study where researchers found that for every 14 grams of this fiber added to a daily diet, the body absorbed roughly 10% fewer calories. Same plate, less absorbed, no effort. I'll show you how Mayo Clinic researchers discovered that 2 people eating identical meals can extract 150 different calories per day, depending entirely on what's living in their gut. And I'll tell you exactly what to eat, starting tomorrow morning, to make your gut work for you instead of against you. By the end of this video, you'll understand more about how your body actually burns fat than 90% of doctors do. And you'll never look at a bowl of oats the same way again. Quick question before we dive in. Tell me in the comments, how often do you eat real fiber in a day? And no, that processed cereal that says high fiber on the box doesn't count. I'm talking about real, whole food fiber. Write it below. I'll read several at the end. First, let's get one thing straight. There are 2 types of fiber, insoluble fiber and soluble fiber. Insoluble fiber is the one most people think of. It's the rough, scratchy fiber from wheat bran, from vegetable skins. It moves through your gut, helps with bowel movements, and gets eliminated. Useful, but not magic. Soluble fiber is completely different. When soluble fiber meets water in your gut, it transforms into a thick, sticky gel. And this gel is the secret behind everything I'm about to show you. This is the fiber found in oats, in beans, in lentils, in chia seeds, in flax seeds, in psyllium, in certain fruits like apples and pears. And this is the fiber that the modern diet, full of refined flour and processed food, has almost completely eliminated. Now let me show you the 4 things this gel does inside your body, and I want you to pay attention because some of these mechanisms have only been discovered in the last few years. The food industry knew, they just didn't want you to know. Mechanism number 1, calorie sequestration. When that gel forms in your small intestine, it physically wraps around the fat, the cholesterol, and part of the sugar in your meal. And here's the key, your digestive enzymes can't reach what's trapped inside the gel. Lipase, the enzyme that breaks down fat, can't get to it. Pancreatic amylase, the enzyme that breaks down carbs, can't get to it. So those calories pass through your small intestine, untouched, and end up being eliminated. I want you to understand the size of this effect. A landmark study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition by Howarth and colleagues found that for every 14 grams of soluble fiber added to your diet per day, your body absorbs roughly 10% fewer calories. Not 10% fewer eaten, 10% fewer absorbed. You can eat the same plate of food, and your body simply takes in less. This is why traditional populations that ate massive amounts of fiber, like the Tarahumara in Mexico, the Hadza in Tanzania, the rural Okinawans, almost never had obesity. They weren't eating less, their bodies were absorbing less. Mechanism number 2, the cholesterol trap. This same gel doesn't just block dietary fat, it blocks something even more important, bile acids. Bile acids are made in your liver from cholesterol. Your liver pulls cholesterol from your blood, turns it into bile, releases that bile into your gut to help digest fat, and then your body recycles 95% of that bile back to be used again. But when soluble fiber is in your gut, it grabs onto those bile acids and drags them out of your body, in your stool. Your liver, suddenly missing its bile, has to make more, and to make more bile, it has to pull more cholesterol from your bloodstream. Result? Your blood cholesterol drops, naturally. Without statins, without medication. This is one of the most well-documented effects in nutrition science. A meta-analysis published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition reviewed dozens of trials and confirmed that soluble fiber lowers LDL cholesterol by 10 to 15% in just a few weeks. The pharmaceutical industry spent billions developing statins to do exactly this. Soluble fiber does it for the price of a bag of oats. Tell me something in the comments. Have you ever had a doctor recommend soluble fiber to lower your cholesterol? Or did they go straight to the prescription? I'm genuinely curious. Write it below. Mechanism number 3. And this one is the most exciting because science only fully understood it in the last decade. Once that fiber gets past your small intestine and reaches your colon, something incredible happens. The bacteria in your gut, the trillions of microorganisms that make up your microbiome, they ferment that fiber. They eat it. And as they eat it, they produce 3 molecules that change everything: butyrate, propionate, acetate. These are called short-chain fatty acids, and they don't just sit in your gut. They enter your bloodstream and travel throughout your body. Here's what they do. First, they trigger the release of GLP-1. Yes, the same hormone those famous weight loss medications like Ozempic and Wegovy artificially imitate. Your body produces it for free when you feed your gut bacteria the right fiber. GLP-1 slows down stomach emptying. It stabilizes your blood sugar. It signals your brain that you don't need to eat. It is, without question, one of the most powerful satiety hormones your body has. Second, those short-chain fatty acids also trigger PYY, another hunger-suppressing hormone. And third, they actually increase your basal metabolic rate. They make your body burn more energy at rest. Let me say that again, because this is wild. Soluble fiber, fermented by your gut bacteria, makes your body burn more calories doing nothing, just by existing. Mayo Clinic research, led by Dr. Purna Kashyap and colleagues, has shown that people with a healthy, fiber-fed microbiome extract roughly 150 fewer calories per day from the same food compared to people with a depleted microbiome. 150 calories a day. That adds up to about 15 pounds a year. Same plate, different microbiome. Mechanism number 4. Insulin sensitivity and the fat-burning switch. Remember the gel I described at the beginning? That gel doesn't just trap fat, it also slows down how fast sugar enters your bloodstream, the same way protein does, but through a different route. When you eat a meal with soluble fiber, your blood sugar doesn't spike. There's no glucose peak, which means there's no exaggerated insulin response, which means there's no insulin storm telling your body to store everything as fat. Because here's something the industry really doesn't want you to know. Insulin is the primary fat storage hormone in your body. As long as your insulin is high, your body cannot burn fat. It's biochemically impossible. Insulin's job is to store energy. It's literally the opposite of fat burning. So every time you eat a meal that spikes your insulin, you shut down fat burning for hours. Some people, on a typical Western diet of refined carbs, never spend a single hour of their day in a fat-burning state. Their insulin is always elevated. Soluble fiber breaks this cycle. By flattening the glucose curve, it allows your insulin to come back down. And when insulin drops, your body finally switches into fat-burning mode. The fat that's been sitting on your hips, your belly, your thighs becomes available as fuel. Combine this with the calorie sequestration of mechanism 1, the cholesterol drop of mechanism 2, and the GLP-1 boost of mechanism 3, and you start to understand why this fiber is, biologically speaking, one of the most powerful tools your body has for losing weight and staying healthy. Now, the practical part. How do you actually get enough of this fiber? The general recommendation is at least 25 to 30 grams of total fiber per day, with a significant portion being soluble. The average American eats around 15. Most people are getting about half of what they need. Here are the foods with the highest soluble fiber content per serving. Oats, real oats, not instant. Half a cup of rolled oats gives you about 2 grams of beta-glucan, which is one of the most studied soluble fibers for cholesterol reduction. Chia seeds, 2 tablespoons give you about 4 grams of soluble fiber. Mix them in water for 10 minutes. You'll see the gel form right in front of you. That same gel forms in your gut. Flax seeds, ground, not whole. Whole flax seeds pass through you undigested. 2 tablespoons of ground flax give you about 3 grams of soluble fiber plus omega-3. Psyllium husk, the most concentrated source. 1 tablespoon gives you about 5 grams of pure soluble fiber. This is the supplement that most cardiologists who actually understand nutrition recommend for cholesterol. Beans and lentils, half a cup cooked gives you about 3 to 4 grams of soluble fiber. Apples and pears, with the skin, about 1 to 2 grams per fruit. My recommendation? Start with 1 tablespoon of chia seeds in your breakfast. Add half a cup of cooked beans or lentils to your lunch. Eat 1 apple or pear with the skin as a snack. That alone will roughly double the soluble fiber intake of the average person. And if you really want to accelerate the effect, add 1 teaspoon of psyllium husk in a glass of water before your biggest meal of the day. The gel will form in your stomach before the food arrives, and the calorie sequestration starts immediately. I want you to understand what to expect. In the first week, you'll notice your hunger drops dramatically. You'll feel full for longer after meals. Your cravings for sugar will start to fade. In 2 to 4 weeks, your cholesterol numbers, if you measure them, will likely come down 10 to 15%. Your blood sugar will be more stable. Your energy through the day will be more even. In 2 to 3 months, your microbiome itself starts to shift. The fiber-loving bacteria multiply, the fiber-hating bacteria decrease, and your body becomes, biologically, a different metabolic machine. One that burns more, stores less, and resists weight gain naturally. So here's the summary. Soluble fiber doesn't just fill your stomach. It physically blocks calorie absorption. It pulls cholesterol out of your blood. It triggers natural GLP-1 release. And it switches your body back into fat-burning mode. This is not a supplement marketing claim. This is decades of nutrition science that, for some reason, never made it into mainstream conversation. You can guess why. Tell me in the comments. Did you know about soluble fiber before this video? Were you eating any of these foods regularly? I'm genuinely curious how many people knew this and how many didn't. And if this is the kind of content that opens your eyes to how your body actually works, the kind of stuff the industry would prefer you didn't know, subscribe to the channel. Every week, I bring you the science that nobody else is willing to translate. Honestly, no supplements to sell, no miracle promises. Just the truth about how your body works and how you can use it to your advantage. See you in the next one.